So we've been speaking about pranayam, as a means to arrive at a state of yoga. And as we know that the state of yoga implies nirodaha or restraint. As Patanjali says in the beginning of the Yoga Sutras, yoga chitta vritti nirodaha, that it is the nirodaha or the restraint of the vrittis or the chitta vritti or the compulsive loopings of the mind. So this is what Patanjali proposes, that yoga is the restraint of the movement or the compulsive looping of the mind. About a millennium later, Swatmaraman in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika offers us techniques and methods of how to arrive at this condition of yoga. And he is proposing pranayam. So in the second chapter of the Hatha Pradipika, the second karika, he says, chale vate, chale chittam, nischale nischalam bhavet. Yogi sthanutva mapnoti tato vayum nirodhayet. Tato vayum nirodhayet. And this is a very, very important karika, and many of us know this, which implies that as the breath moves, so the mind moves. Because anything that moves is moved by the element air. Chale vate, chale chittam. As the air moves, in tandem, mirroring that, the mind moves. Nischale, nischalam bhavet. When that movement stills or becomes, it stops moving, it results in nischalam bhavet. The condition of nischalam, of unmovement, of stillness is obtained. And then he goes in the next line to say, yogi sthanutva mapnoti. Sthanutva mapnoti. Sthanu is a trunk of a tree or a stump. So the yogi obtains a state, an already existing state, a pre-existent state that's already available to me in the body, of stumpness, of trunkness, of like that he or she arrives at that firmness that is part and parcel of my being already. It's obtained. Sthanutva. So it's not only that he becomes a trunk, and this is a very, very beautiful part, and it is actually poetic, that it's not that I become the trunk, I obtain the trunkness of my being. I obtain mapnoti. I arrive at, I obtain the pre-existent trunkness. So I go into a state of trunkness, of being completely sthira. Yeah. When tato vayum, the air, nirodhayet. By the restraint of vayu, or by the restraint of breath, I arrive at a state of yoga. Now, the question which I open, and which is also part and parcel of my practice, is whether what brings me to this state? Is it like a conscious restraining or tempering of the breath, like we know that we'll temper the breath, we'll keep working on the breath as a technique, we'll keep doing, so to speak, perfecting the technique? Or does it also mean and warrant that I equally become available to this pre-existent call of the trunkness of my being, which already exists? And I propose again and again that it is not only the doing of the technique, but it's also becoming available. And when I say becoming available, I mean intrinsically, poetically available, because this is a poetic state of becoming available to the trunkness, to the pre-existent, to the memory of the trunkness that is there. That means I am already a stable being, and I become available to it. And to arrive at that, I also do techniques of pranayam. So for me, what I'm proposing is that yoga is not only a practice of doing, yoga is intrinsically becoming available to the existent poetry of our bodies.